What's going on, everybody? It is me, Waddles here. Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first video, and guess what? I totally forgot that these tutorials that I've been making are a series. Yeah, I said they were going to be one and I forgot, so I don't know what episode this is in the series, but it's an episode. And actually this video is way different than all of the other ones. I'm not going to really show you how to do something today. I already have a video for that. I'm going to kind of make some amends or adjustments to the video that I previously made. Before I get all into this, of course, if this helps you, make sure you subscribe. If you enjoy this video, do me a favor and leave a thumbs up. It really helps me out. So if you haven't seen the slime farm tutorial, there's been a lot of amazing comments and really good comments on that video, and I thought I would address some of those, kind of talk about how you can improve my slime farm design, or maybe even fix it if it's not working for you. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave it on the end slide. It'll be the biggest video on the end slide. Skip to the last 30 seconds right now and go watch that first. And if you've already seen that and have some questions, I hope this will help you out a little bit. So with that, I'm gonna switch over to my world where my slime farm is created. I have a backup of my Let's Play world, and we're gonna work on fixing or improving the design. And with that, here we are, the slime farm. It is magic. So how this video is going to go is I'm going to talk about ways to improve it first, then we're going to talk about ways that you could fix it if it doesn't seem to be working for you. So I'll try and leave links in the description to the timestamps of the fixing part and obviously this part. Okay, enough talking. The first way, and the easiest way probably, that you can improve this farm is like this. Pumpkin lighting. Pumpkin lighting is going to free up your spawning space a lot. I've had a lot of comments with people saying, hey, the rates aren't that good, and when I see their screenshots, they have like 1,000,000 torches in here, which is all good because you want your farm lit up, but if you put jack-o'-lanterns, it's going to light up the whole room just as well as torches, or even better, all while just being part of the floor. It makes it look way cleaner and gives more spawning space. So this is a pattern that I just kind of came up with really quickly. It's not even, but it does light up everything. There isn't any 8s in here, I believe. I checked. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But basically, do pumpkin lighting. Put it in the floor, and then it'll also light up the layer below. But I would suggest putting them on the floor on every layer. Just get very bright of an area. It'll help, prevent all the other mobs and give more spawning room, all while making it cleaner. Moving on to part 2 is another falling chute. If you put another one of these in over on the opposite side of it, that is going to make these slimes detect the iron golems much faster, because if a slime spawns over here, he's going to have to jump over towards this side of this chunk until he detects this golem, then he'll jump off. So if you put another one of these whole chutes on the other side, they'll spawn over here and detect the golem over there, or they'll spawn over here and detect the golem over there. Then you just have this small middle area where you just have to wait for them to jump left or right, and then they should lock onto the golem and fall. So if you just add a whole other one of those, I'm not going to go do it in the video because they're pretty self-explanatory, just like I did in the original tutorial. Dig down, either 3 across, 4 across, or 5 across, and then put golems either at every layer or every other layer. That is the next way you can improve this design, is putting more golems. If you put a golem at every layer, this farm will get even more productive than it already is. You can work it out by kind of setting them, like offset from each other, or just figuring it all out. Digging a smaller room for them to stand in would work fine, but more golems should increase the rates. And I guess you could get even crazier and put 3 golems on one layer, but I don't think it's necessary. But more golems will increase the rates. More golems either on 2 falling chutes or even on 1 chute, they should detect them a little bit faster, making it a little bit better. Now, if you're still really unimpressed with the rates and not happy with your farm, another thing that you could do to make this almost like lossless is this. You could come in here with magma blocks, cover the floor in here instead of a cactus and hoppers, put magma blocks, and then below it you would put a minecart with a hopper on a loop. They can pick up things through these magma blocks, so therefore the slimes will fall onto here, be jumping around trying to get this guy still, and eventually die. Then the hopper minecart below will pick up all the slimes and then throw it in a chest. So this is something you might come up with. It's going to be a little tricky to set up depending on how close your bedrock is to the bottom of this farm, but what I'll do is I'll throw a link in the description to a basic minecart hopper like pickup system video. So that'll be down there if you're really interested in it, but honestly, I don't think it is that necessary. The cactus method works fine, and you don't really lose that many drops. But if you want to really improve your rates, you could figure out some kind of other system to set up underneath your farm. And then another way that you could improve your farm is if your slimes are getting stuck and you're not liking them, being stuck trying to swim up the stream, slimes should usually target the player over an iron golem. So if you set up trapdoors or something, you can open the trapdoor, they should detect you, close the trapdoor, let them come in, and then if you walk away, they might still try and target you, but eventually they'll kill themselves on the cactus or on the magma block or whatever you have set up, for your killing area. But you could make it look pretty nice with something like this. Not that hard. I would suggest putting them on a lot of different sides though, because sometimes this might just be a little too far from the slime for them to kind of notice you. But those are some ways you could improve the farm. Maybe leave a comment telling me you did it and you got it to work. Maybe send me a tweet with a screenshot of it all set up with a minecart hopper system, because then you have a totally lossless farm, or you should. But if you don't do that, you could do any of the other ideas that I just gave you to improve it. Moving on. So, your farm is broken. Well, I'm going to tell you a few things that you could check or possibly do to fix it if you think it's broken. Just a few common problems that I have come across when helping some people with their farms if they're broken. So just ignore any changes in this part of the video if you skip past the first part. They're not important. The farm works the same. The first thing you should do is check if you actually have a slime chunk. This is a pretty basic thing, but it's a common issue, which is all good. It happens. The seeds are sometimes pretty long and tricky, so make sure you got every single number right. Maybe use a site like Chunkbase to double check if you haven't, but sometimes you accidentally built it or dug it out in a non-slime chunk, and that would be pretty frustrating. You have to use a slime chunk. Slimes don't spawn just anywhere in the world. So first, make sure you have a slime chunk. The next piece of advice that I would give you on your farm is, if it's not working, make sure you're on a game mode that hostile mobs will spawn. This is another common, very basic error, but make sure you're not on peaceful. Moving on. The next tip of advice is don't AFK too close, but don't AFK too far. I usually AFK right here where I am standing. I'll throw 2 blocks of dirt and then just kind of stand here. So I'm pretty close to the farm, and that's not going to allow spawns on this lower chunk, but that's okay because I get pretty good rates. But you don't want to AFK right on top of the farm, but you also don't want to AFK really far away from the farm, because then you're just not going to get any spawns. Don't go too far, but don't stand too close, because slimes won't spawn within 24 blocks of you. I think it is something like that. Don't stand too close. Another issue that might be stopping your farm from working is torches. If you put a billion torches in here like this, sometimes the slimes can't even spawn because there's no room for them to spawn. So make sure you didn't make a birthday cake out of your farm. Birthdays are cool and all, but if you want slimes, that won't work. Space your torches out like that, or even if you skip past it, in the beginning of the video, I talked about putting jack-o'-lanterns in. That'll really help your problem out. Another problem you might be having is, are the slimes landing on these ledges and just not falling? Well, that's okay. They actually will fall after a while, or they should. It happens in my farm because these aren't very far. These are only 4 blocks away. Now, if you want, put it 5 blocks away or even 6 if you want. But the further these guys are from this farm, the longer it's going to take for the slimes to just jump off the ledge. They need to be able to detect these guys, and if it's super far, they won't detect them. But basically, my advice here is patience is key with this, or move them back. It's up to you. And this is my final really big tip of advice here, and it's more for console. If you're on console, remember there is mob spawning caps. There's a limit to how many mobs you can have. So maybe if you have, you know, like a billion skeletons in one area, maybe your slimes won't even spawn. That also holds true for PC, but PC's spawn caps are way higher, so I doubt that's a problem if you're on the PC. But if you're on the console, keep that in mind. And then also, I have heard of a lot of issues with chunk base on console. So if you're using console and you think you have a slime chunk, you're certain you have a slime chunk, and even chunk base says you have a slime chunk, there should be a little option for older versions of the console. Make sure you're on the right one. And if not, I have heard of some glitches. But with all that being said, that is some ways you can improve the farm, ways you could fix the farm. So I hope that helped you. Hope that maybe answered a few more questions. Let me know if it did. Like I said, original tutorial is on the end slide. I'll even put it in the description for you if you prefer that. And any more questions, drop them in the comments, not a problem. Or, of course, continue to DM me on Twitter and I can help you out even more with your farm, with screenshots and whatnot. But thank you so much for watching. Again, hope it helped. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a like if it helped you, and I will see you next time. This has been Waddles. Bye-bye.